And what I'd like to do is just have a quick wrap up with Ken and Tom to see if you've been able to what were the most interesting things that you got out of the discussion today?
I'll defer to you, Tom. Go ahead, and I'll follow up.
First, it was really nice to see so many familiar faces. Hearing Russ on the line and seeing Allison and Nicole and Pablo, all the people I've worked with in the past. I think there was a lot of really, first of all, a very, very diverse group. I mean, we have everything from the hard technical presentations to, I'd say, the more social science approaches all represented here. I think there's clearly huge opportunities. Some of them are a result of our COVID crisis right now that wasn't on the horizon when we came up with the idea of having this discussion, but it clearly dominates, our thinking right now. And I think it's going to open up new opportunities that would have taken years to advance. The acceptance of telemedicine is, I think, grown exponentially over the last 2 or 3 months as more and more patients are becoming comfortable and preferring an interaction with their physicians through technology as opposed to a face-to-face. I think there clearly are opportunities in terms of protecting our healthcare workers through the use of telerobotics. And I think there are some compelling cases from a cost standpoint that I saw some of the questions that I haven't had a chance to address, but they were asking, what is the cost justification for an ICU or a medical facility to adopt some of these potentially expensive technologies? How does it make sense? And I don't think that is hard to justify under the current circumstances. Hopefully we're not going to see a big second wave, but my suspicion is we are, and it's only going to get more difficult to address as we go forward.
And I'd like to say, I agree with everything you just said, Tom, and I want to thank everyone who was so helpful at putting this together. Andra and Ravneet behind the scenes, Lori, Khosrav, and of course the fantastic panelists. There's the thing that comes through so loud and clear to me is that 2-3 months ago there was so much talk about the fears around AI and robots, that there were existential crisis, that they were going to replace all human workers, and that the AI was this threat of taking over. And I think you're right, Tom. I think that what's happened in this 3 months is that we have changed our view. We've understood, it's put this into perspective. It's been a wake-up call. And I think people's attitude toward robots is really shifting. We're starting to see them as they have this sudden new benefit, which they didn't have before, which is that safety. They can't pass on infection in the same way. So, and we're vulnerable. That's the other part. So we're understanding that we need them in many different applications, and they do serve a purpose. I think it's been very clear that they're not going to replace doctors and medical technicians at the front line. Their value has been even more clear today. But I think that, as Gary said, there's a huge amount of research to be done now, and it's very encouraging for us. And I think I'm so glad we got a chance to bring this forward at this time in the middle of all of this, and we're still very much, it's still under development. But I'm very excited about continuing this discussion. We're going to put the most of the videos online, and we'll share them. Andra, I'll work with you on that process. I want to thank you all for your time, your attention, and it's astounding to me that we still have almost 200 people here at the online at this 3+ hours in, 4 hours into the event. So thank you all for making this so successful.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Tom. And thank you to all of the speakers, many of whom are still online. In fact, Robin from our very first session, I can see online. Alison Munro, a pleasure to hear you both speaking. JDev, a very detailed presentation. And of course, the talks earlier today were equally good. And just housekeeping, I posted a link to our post-event survey. We will be putting the videos online, not immediately, but we will. And you can follow that at Citrus, CEPA, or at Silicon Valley Robotics. And that post-event survey is actually really important this time. It isn't just one of the please tell us how great we are type surveys. We want to know what are good research topics in this field, because things are moving really rapidly and we have the opportunity to transfer some of the learnings. And I think we might have met that goal with this talk, but I know so many gifted professionals and very experienced robotics health engineers were on the audience side today, and we want to try and capture some of your knowledge and experience as well. And I think, you know, we met the outcomes, Ken. That was to find out what the open problems were, to set some goals for research. And I think we have more coming in the wrap up after this event.
Well, we also have ICRA coming up in about 2 weeks. So I look forward to seeing many of you there.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Bye.